All right, let's look at the homework 3.2, problem number 9. All right, so we want to find the absolute extrema of this given function over the interval from 0 to infinity. All right, so let's do that. All right, so let's find the derivative first. So f prime of x is equal to, all right, derivative of 5 is 0, so I'm not going to write that down. And then we're going to use the quotient rule to find the derivative. So it's going to be negative. All right, then square the denominator. So we have x squared plus 4 squared. All right, actually I'm going to pull 4 as well. So I'm going to put 4 in front, all right, so that we don't have to worry about. So I've already pulled out constant multiple negative 4. So I'm just taking a derivative of x over x squared plus 4, right? So derivative of x is 1 times the denominator, which is x squared plus 4, minus x times the derivative of the denominator is 2x, right? So we got that, right? Then if you clean this up, you're going to get, so it's a negative 4 is outside, right? Then here we have let's see, negative 4 already taken care of, and there's 4 there. 1 doesn't really do anything, so here we have a 4. Then if you combine, there's an x here, and then there's a negative 2x, so it's going to be minus x squared, right? Then denominator is x squared plus 4 squared, right? So if you set this guy equal to 0, right, you see that it's going to be, right, so numerator has to be 0, right? So can I just say x squared is equal to 4? Right, then you can just take the square root of both sides. We know that x is equal to plus or minus 2, right? So in this case, we're only looking at the positive side, so we don't look at the negative 2, we just look at the positive 2 there. Right? So here's the number line. So we're going to do a number line here. All right, then it's beginning at 0, so I'm going to put 0 here. All right, the critical number is 2, so I'm going to put 2 here. Right? Then we're going to consider this signs of f prime, right? So anything between 0 and 2, I'll try x equals 1. Anything above 2, so I'm going to try x equals 3, right? So let's look at the sign of the derivative, right? So I'm going to look at this guy right here, right? Right, plug in negative 1. So the denominator here is always positive, so we don't have to worry about that. All right, so if you plug in 1, 4 minus 1 squared would be positive, but there's a negative sign, so the numerator is negative. Right, negative divided by positive is a negative quantity. Right, and x equals 3. So if you plug in 3, denominator is positive, but the 4 minus 3 squared would be negative times negative. So this is going to actually become positive. So positive divided by positive is going to be positive. Right? So we know that the picture is going to be, so f is going to be, right, it's a decreasing graph in, between 0 and 2. Right? Then we have an increasing graph after. Right, so we have that. Right, then let's see. So we know that the add 2, so we know that it's a dip. So we're looking at the bottom of the valley. So we know that we have an absolute minimum there. So absolute minimum there. Right, and also endpoint is 0, so let's evaluate the value there. So you have f of 0, so f of 0, which is pretty easy to evaluate, right? So if you plug in 0, so second term becomes 0, so this is going to be 5. Right? Then if you look at this carefully, this function 5 is the largest number it can achieve, because here you are subtracting, right? This part is going to be always non-negative because denominator is non-negative because of the square plus 4. And here up here, x is actually non-negative. So you're subtracting non-negative value. So it's going to be always less than or equal to 5. So 5 is going to be the absolute maximum. Right? And the smallest value at 2, so I'm going to just find f of 2. So f of 2, which is here, so plug it in, so you have a 5 minus, if you plug in 2, 4 times 2 is 8 over, right? And if you put 2 here, so it's a 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 4 is 8. So you can see that it's going to be 5 minus 1, right? So because we can cancel 8 and 8, you get 1. So 5 minus 1 is 4. Right? So absolute minimum is 2, 4. Absolute max is 0, 5. Right? Let's type it in. Right? Absolute max is at 0, 5. And absolute min is at 2, 4. Right? So, actually, 2, 4, right? Let's check the answer. All right, I came back and looks like I got this one correctly. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.